The Olight HS2 is a brand new headlamp from Olight, and this one has some nifty features. It seems lights these days are becoming, smarter is not really the word that I want to use, but they're becoming more full-featured. Lights are not just turn on, turn off, different brightnesses. They're becoming, smarter, for lack of a better word. Some more nifty features, like that 12,000 lumen gargantuan thing, that Olight that I just reviewed, that has a motion sensor and a proximity sensor, some nifty features. This one, the HS2, is no exception, and I'll get to some things about that. The big selling feature of this light is that it is very light. Comes in at 4.6 ounces, has a built-in 2,000 milliamp hour battery, and it says it will throw 85 meters, and I'll show you that a little bit. Here's the box. On the box, it has some of the highlights, 400 lumens, and as you can see here, one of the interesting things about this light is it has two LEDs, up close and a far throwing. Uses for this light: because this light is so lightweight, you almost forget you have it on your head. You can use it for running, you can use it for running and hiking and skiing in the dark and emergency, and an endless amount of uses, because the light, again, is just so light. Like other headlights, keep it for in your car, keep it for emergency uses, keep it for blackouts, but it's just a super nice, lightweight, portable light. So that's the case, or the box rather. Let's get that out of the way. And inside that box comes this nice little pleather, I'm going to call it, case. And if you're going to use it for one of these travel-y kind of things, then you can bring the light with you in this nifty little case with a little strap. And it's a nice case with the new Olight blue on it. And let's open it up and see what we have. So inside the case we get the light, which I'll come back to in just a minute. And then up on the top here, there is a USB cable to charge it, and this is an interesting USB cable that I'll get back to. A couple other little clips that hold the cable on the side of the light, and then the instruction manual. The instruction manual, which also has some highlights on the front here, also is kind of interesting because there's not a ton of writing. Right here, this one page is all the English you get. So not a ton of instructions in there, but it's not that complicated of a light. But we will get this stuff out of the way. And onto the light itself. When the light first comes in the package, it's going to come disconnected, the power that is. And all you need to do is plug it in right here, and it snaps into place. There we go. And then there's the light. There's no top strap on this because this one is just so light that it just doesn't need one. On the back here is that built-in 2,000 milliamp hour battery, and it's USB rechargeable. Right here, you just plug the USB cable into here. You can use any USB cable. It plugs in. Where did it go? Like that, and the light will start charging. And you can kind of see here, those lights that are flashing show there's 4 lights that will give you the charge status. You can see I'm blinking on light number 2, so this has a little ways to go to charge. One of the other fancy things is that when you're using this light, when the battery gets down to 10%, the light will start beeping. It'll beep for, I think, about 10 minutes, and you can turn that beeping off by pressing the button. But that way, if you're out hiking, you never really know when your battery on most lights is going to die. Another one of those fancy features I was talking about, this beeps when it gets down to 10% so that you know it's time to recharge the battery. Some other stuff that this light does that, again, is kind of interesting is that you can run it off the battery, and you can also just take this and plug a USB cable into the port right here that charges it. However, the sort of interesting thing about it is that this Olight cable somehow is proprietary, because if I plug this into it, nothing happens. Nada. If we open this one, it's nice and long at least. We plug this one into it, it will now run off of it. So I don't know what's different about the Olight USB cable, but something is proprietary in there such that I can only run from this cable. It will charge with any USB cable, as I just demonstrated. That's the one I use for my phone. But if you're going to run the light off, say, a battery pack, maybe you have an external battery pack, or you want to plug it in for some reason. I don't know why you plug it in and use it, but you can only use the USB cable that comes with it. You can, of course, charge with that cable as well. Fits in there, and you can see it starts to charge. When you take it out and you close this, you seal this, this light is IPX4 rated, so it's not waterproof, it's splash resistant. So you're not going to want to go diving, you're not going to want to get caught in a torrential downpour with this, but it will be fine for general purpose, just trying not to get it too soaked. But really, as small as this is, if they tried to make it IPX8 rated or something like that, it would just be probably overkill in the design of it. So let's look at that design. Speaking of that, the battery on the back, which I've mentioned, Olight logo here, 2000 milliamp hour battery. And then the cable just wraps around the side, and you can adjust the sides here, right here that is, and right here. So you can make it bigger or smaller. Olight logos on the side. Also interesting, these little arrows here on the side are reflective. The one on this side is kind of hidden under the wires, but they're reflective, so maybe if you're standing somewhere with the light off and a car comes or someone with a flashlight comes, this will be reflective, they'll be able to see you. The cable comes up into the light, sort of the head of the light. The light is in this little housing, and it's stiff, but a very stiff in a good way. Stiff in that you put it in a position and it's not going to go anywhere, but it's still very mobile and easy to maneuver. You can point it all the way down, you can point it all the way up, if you can get to it. All the way up and anywhere in between. On the back of it, there's a little bit of a heat sink and the Olight logo over here on the side. Another interesting feature about this light is that you can see it has two LEDs. They're both TIR lenses, total internal reflection lenses, and they're different. One is for up close and a little bit more of a diffuse beam, and the other one is a little bit more focused far throwing beam. You can use them together, you can use them separately. Each light by itself is capable of, I believe, a 50 or 100 lumen output, and then you can put them together and get all the way up to that 400 lumens. You actuate it by the side button here, and let's just show you. Single press it and it comes on to the maximum brightness, both LEDs lit up. Press it again and it will go to the lower brightness, and a single click toggles between the brightnesses, so low and high and low and back to high. If from anything you can triple click and get to the SOS. And then to get back from that, you can just single click and it'll go back to whatever brightness it was at. To alternate between both LEDs and either or LED, you double press. So there's this lens, this is the up close lens. Double click again, that moves to the other one, the far away lens, and then double click again and it goes back to both. So double click both, right, left, both. Within each of those, you also have the two brightnesses. So there's that, single click it again and it goes down to the 50 lumens, single click it again up to the 100. Double click to the other side, single press back up. So a bunch of brightnesses kind of scattered throughout, and then you need up close, you need far, or you want a good mixture, you can control all of them or any in between. And then to turn it off, you just long press and it fades off. It fades off, it fades on, as you can see. It's kind of a nice feature. Fades on, fades off, and all the different brightnesses that it goes between. Double click, single click, and you can see it kind of fades down. So kind of a nice feature. Let me give you an idea of the beam profiles here in my yet to be furnished new living room. Turning it on, the full brightness, you can see this is both LEDs together, kind of a central hot spot with some flood on the edges. Going down, there's the dimmer brightness with both LEDs. Double clicking, that's the diffuse on dim, diffuse on bright. You can see a nice diffuse light. Double clicking again, you can see how it jumps into that focused hot spot. And then down, back up, and there's both together. So you can see the different profiles, both diffuse and focused. And it actually does pretty well. I mean, it's 400 lumens, that house across the street it's getting most of. There's the dimmer brightness. Double clicking. There's the focused beam. Dimmer. Focus beam on high. There's both. And there's just the diffuse beam, and you can see down in front of me, it's plenty bright. And even on the dimmer setting, plenty bright. So there you go, another great light from Olight. Like I said in the beginning of the video, this is not your grandfather's flashlight. Flashlights are getting fancier and fancier with all sorts of little nifty features like the warning at 10%. Putting this thing on, it's super comfortable. You can adjust it. It definitely doesn't need the strap on the top because it's so lightweight. The strap is done so well. The curvature in the back with the battery in the back is just well balanced. It's a fantastic light for the intended purposes of being very active, some up close stuff, and as you saw outside, it still gets decent throw. So it's a great light. Check one out. I will put a link down below as always, and I will catch you again next time. Have a great night, or day, or morning, or wherever you are. For me, it's 1 a.m. For me, I'm going to bed. Take care. Bye.